And welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Bahamut, your caster. On the left-hand side, we have Jailbait, and on the right, we have Throwing? So, it's just... it gets you every time, but... Twitch chat, thank you for swinging by. How are you guys already doing? Just... I like how we've started Twitch chat with just caps lock. Like, that is the way you start a matchup here, and I love it. But either way, Throwing is going to be having the first ban here onto Genji. We're going to be going into Battlefield of Eternity. Just a quick note, we had Coin Flip was won by Jailbait, Dragonshire was banned out by them, Throwing banned out Sky Temple. First map is going to be BOE, and second map is going to be Braxis Holdout. Exciting matchup we're going to be getting into here. I'm just always excited to be here. And once again, I am Bahamut, your caster. Welcome back. Thank you for coming by. I hope you guys are having a great evening in this Division B Eastern matchup. But let's go ahead and see what we're going to be getting on the side of Jailbait here. Now, on Battlefield of Eternity, typically we see a little bit of a priority onto some of the damage dealers on the Immortal in this early ban phase. So something like Avala, Greymane, Malthael, Lunara, a lot of those heroes, Genji, which I think for the resets during all these team fights is pretty big, so I can see that the reasoning for that. But overall, I like this. But actually, it looks like Jailbait's gonna go ahead and they don't want to deal with a Stukov on this map, so they'll go ahead and get rid of that, and they're okay with the members of Throwing picking up really whatever they want in the start of this. I don't think that they were going to early lock in a Stukov, but Stukov is a really strong healer on this map, and I personally think he's strong on almost any map in most compositions, so definitely banning that out is strong for a team, and maybe it's also something that they think might anti-synergize with what they're going to be running here. Well, let's go ahead and see. Throwing. In this first slot, I would maybe consider that they'd be going down the road of... I would really just lock in the Greymane here. But they're gonna get Lucio, okay. A lot of heavy priority onto the Lucio lately. Large AoE healing with a burst in speed too is pretty big, as well as a nice big, that break it down is huge for a team. Hanzo going to be picked up though on the side of Jailbait, often seeing him utilized here for a lot of that Immortal burn, especially with the... oh, Stormkiller GG, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. And they're going to be picking up that Malfurion with that as well. Hanzo, okay, so Hanzo offers quite a nice burst to the Immortal race, as well as a lot of good vision. He's got a very good stun at 10 that we often see, and just his damage is just really strong, and his disengage is great. Even his chase, if you really want to use him that way, but it's a little risky. Before we go into this ban phase, though, we are going to be picking up two more heroes on the side of Throwing. After seeing it once, like, please pick up the Tyrael right now, and then go ahead and just grab your Greymane as well. And I really think you've got a phenomenal composition already started out. That's the way that I'd be going if I was drafting this, to be honest. Okay, so they go ahead and they get the Greymane, which is great for the Immortal burn as well as camps, team fighting. Just overall, Greymane is just well-rounded and a great asset for a team, especially on a map like this. But Diablo is going to be picked up with that. A lot of good areas for him to go ahead and get those shadow charges into, as well as that overpower will be pretty big for the team just to get that separation from a team. And then on top of that, the Apocalypse as kind of a zoning tool, as well as a really great fighting tool is big for the team here. So now, we'll come back into some of the synergies with that. Let's look at the bans. If I was on the side of Jailbait, looking at the draft of Throwing, realistically, you'd want to probably focus down the solo laner in this situation. Just based on the draft, they've got a good healer, they've got a very strong Immortal burn, and they've got a great main tank. Sylvanas in this situation isn't a bad idea at all. She works really well in the current meta. She's just really strong with push power, and push power is key, especially with all these all these forts are just so weak. especially with her, you know, the nullification of the damage when they don't have any tower shots. She has been seeing a lot of rise in play, and I'm not surprised, but ETC going to be banned out on the side of throwing, and I don't disagree with that at all. I think he works well with the composition that was being formed around that. The Malfurion would have offered a lot of utility for that, as well as the Twilight Dream for that Mosh Pit combination, and then Dragon Strike is very strong with that as well. And they need it, and they need a tank as well. So just looking at the composition, you can kind of discern a couple things, and it's just, you know, are you more worried about your solo lane matchup, or are you more worried about their Immortal Burn or their tank? And that's really what you have to ask yourself. And the ETC Malfurion combination with Hanzo and whatever else they could be picking up, I'm not surprised by that. So nice ban out of the throwing there, and so far really great draft from both teams so far. We're going to be getting a Sonya for that solo lane on the side of Jailbait, and Murden for their main tank, which is not a bad idea at all. A lot of good stuns coming out from him. Avatar form is really powerful. We can see, here and there, a Haymaker. Thomas Love. All right. These last two picks, though, on the side of throwing. What are you going to be grabbing, guys? So your solo lane is going to be going into the Sonya. Malthael could be an option. Tyrael I saw earlier today, but that was up against the Zagara. Zagara is also a fine choice, but realistically here, And then on top of that, they're going to need something to synergize with the Diablo, so I would think like a mage, like a Gul'dan or a Kael'thas would be really powerful for throwing. Artanis and Lunara. Okay, so Lunara's slow is going to benefit the Diablo quite a bit, and the solo lane matchup is going to be Artanis versus Sonya. Not a bad idea. They're drafting very map forward on the side of throwing. The Lunara Greymane combination, phenomenal against the Immortal. Amateur opponent from the Artanis is going to be very beneficial as well. Putting him in the solo lane is going to be strong. Maybe they might go into the Seasoned Marksman stacks. It's a possibility. But with that, they're going to be picking up a Li Ming on the side of Jailbait. I like it. I honestly like both of their drafts. Li Ming offers a lot into the Lunara. It's going to be kind of difficult for her, but at the same time, you have Greymane to really dive in. On top of that, you have Artanis with swaps. You have Diablo diving in with the Shadow Charge. You have Overpowers. You have Lunara getting the Splintered Spear at 4. Well, 7. But she could go Nature's Culling. We'll see, though. Let's get into this matchup. I am too excited about this. Let's get into this. On the left-hand side, we have Jailbait with H2O on that Muradin, Smug Dolphin on the Malfurion, Galaxy on the Li Ming, Junkrat going to be playing the Genji, and Fragastellar going to be rounding it out on that Sonya. Yo, Sierras. Boy, oh boy, that alert doesn't go off. Oh my god. Thank you so much for the sub. I'll redo it after this cast, though. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this 4 months. Throwing on the right-hand side, we're going to be having Repsychic on the Lucio, Hotjob on the Diablo, Queen Bee going to be playing the Lunara, Yazoo on the Greymane, and we have rounding it out with Topher on the Artanis. Let's go ahead and pull up the stats here. But once again, thank you so much, Sierras, for the resub for 4 months. Love you too. Thank you again. I'll redo the alert when we get out of this game. But let's get into this matchup here. I mean, this bottom lane is kind of to be expected. Top lane is the Artanis versus the Sonya. We'll go and take a peek at that really quickly. I really don't expect this to be a crazy difficult battle. just peering at some of the talents, we do have Artanis going into the amateur opponent. We actually have Lunara going into the Blossom Swell here. We're going to have Lucio be picking up Accelerando, and we have the Devil's Dew and as well as the cocktail build from the Greymane. Meridian going into actually the Stormhammer build, Lee Main going into Missile build, Sonya going for that Warpaint at level 1. Shando's Clarity from the Malfurion, and it looks like we do have Hanzo going into the, I don't know it by heart yet, the Redemption. Okay. I was looking at it earlier, and I was like, okay, I know what you gotta do, but it looks like, though, we do have just a little bit of a back and forth here, realistically. These teams are going to be kind of playing it safe and just soaking the lanes. I don't expect a huge push here, unless they get a little close. Maybe they'll push back a little bit harder. You know, on the side of throwing, it looks like Jailbait is doing a pretty good job of actually pushing them into the gate a little bit here, but we'll see, as you know, this gate does not have ammo that it can really worry about anymore. But a Stormbolt going on to a Psychic there, going to get that stun, no follow-up. Meanwhile, though, Calaxy going to be going ahead and getting quite a few of those just nice orbs from the back line, and potentially getting Hatchob there a little bit low. Peeking back into top, it looks like it's a pretty even matchup here between Fragastellar and Topher. No one's really winning or losing the lane. It's just been kind of midpoint, a little bit in favor of Jailbait, but overall it's still even. Unlike bottom, which is currently, you know, it's been getting sieged quite a bit from this 4-man that's currently, and actually we have Yazoo currently diving out, trying to get a little bit of damage, but it won't be happening. Do you have the stun? And ooh, actually. H2O is a little bit low there, and just Hatchob getting that overpower and slam into the wall and that stun with the towers as well as the rest of the team just blowing them up was pretty big. Now, with the 230 mark just hitting, Yazoo is going to go ahead and rotate over to this camp, which I really, really like. This timing is going to be probably just about perfect. Actually going to be rotating Artanis over here. Maybe Yazoo a little bit low for this, but either way, that's still a great time. Now, the only thing is here, they're going to be losing out on a little bit of soak with Sonya pushing that up quite a bit. Oh, Sears, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. I'm still going to redo it after this match, though. I really appreciate it. So, top camp's going to be pushing up at this time as the Immortals pop. It looks like Jailbait's going to be doing the exact same thing and going to be picking up their Bruiser camp as well. But at this time, we do have a little bit of damage going over in favor of throwing here. They're currently on the Immortal of Jailbait, and Topher's staying a little bit long. He did get stunned out and rooted there for a bit. The other thing to note really quickly is just that Hanzo, this Junkrat, is currently just working this thing down by himself, and you can see the difference. I mean, just look at the burn. It's 1v basically 5 on this thing, and Hanzo's kind of keeping pace. So that's something just to note, is that we're looking at about 1,000 difference, and it was 1 versus a team burn. So as this game progresses, I'm a little bit worried, but we're gonna see as this goes on. Looks like we do have a couple of the members fighting here. H2O just trying to delay this out a little bit. Well, it looks like Hanzo and Calaxy are going to be going ahead and just starting to work this down. And this Disrupt actually might be able to sneak this over. They only need a little bit more, and actually they're going to go ahead and steal this away. Jailbait picking up the first Immortal here, and it actually is going to be pretty beneficial for them here. Hatchob a little far forward. There's an orb that comes out, and that is just the tail of Diablo. Gets that kill onto him. Now, he didn't have full souls, so he's not going to be reviving right away, which is good because you don't want him to be losing out on that Devil's Due trait at level 1. But at the same time, they did dedicate a few assets into that bottom lane to get that clear, and so at this time, Jailbait has a nice free push onto this top front gate as well as this tower. The members will be getting there in time, but the thing is, you know, this is going to be a free gate, basically. I don't expect them to be getting the fort, but you never know. Diablo is currently going into that bottom lane, and, you know, Sonya is removed from the team as well. They've got some decent poke on the side of Jailbait here, but can throwing maybe get a nice swap onto one of those backline members and maybe blow them up. Queen Bee trying to get some of that poke damage onto the Immortal, make sure that they burn this down slowly. Yazoo going to be doing the exact same thing. And it looks like they go ahead and they save their fort, but it did take quite a bit of damage. They need to make sure that they get the clear on this wave so it doesn't melt it, and it looks like they'll just barely. Meanwhile, though, in bottom, we did see Fragastellar, and I mentioned, was pushing in, and Diablo did come down here. Hatchob trying to just slow this down, but you did see that the damage that did go out onto that tower. But at this time, the members of throwing, they're going to go ahead and rotate onto this camp quite quickly, and they didn't even have 7s there, and they went ahead and they said, you know what, we're going to take this, and it was 4v2, and they played it safe on the side of Jailbait. I don't blame them. At the same time, though, Fragastellar taking quite a bit of damage, getting body blocked by Hatchob, able to kind of delay this out. Maybe there is an Artanis swap that can come out. does not look like it's going to be happening. Some of the members from the team are going to be rotating. The other thing to note really quick is we got about a minute left on the camps. So look to see those being picked up quite soon here, as well as, you know, the Immortal timer shouldn't be too far behind. We're looking at maybe about a minute on that as well. At this point, H2O a little separated from the team. Yazoo a little far forward. We'll be using one of those minions to dive back into the friendly team. Just noting really quickly, in bottom, Topher got scouted out, it looked like, and so he backed off of that camp. Checking into some of these level 7 talents as this Immortal is about to pop up here. We're going to be going out of the ordinary. I mean, I really can't say. Poison Spears, pretty normal. We actually do have Diablo currently charging it onto Smug Dolphin, but the rest of the team isn't there. They actually get a swap onto H2O as well. Smug Dolphin trying to stay alive here, but getting body blocked, and Li Ming trying to poke in some of this damage as well. Diablo taking a lot. Gonna have to back off. They go ahead and get that camp, but Junkrat gonna be falling here as well, and that is a huge pickup on the side of throwing right now, especially as the Immortals are just landing, and so they'll be able to rotate here and definitely start to work these down. Now, what they should do is they should also leave maybe one member to behind to just kind of zone them back a little bit. But at this point, it looks like they'll just dedicate the Greymane Lucio as well as the Artanis on to this Immortal. Lunara did have to be back there, I think, just going to get mana or health. But it looks like the burn actually went, it went over in favor of throwing, of course, here. And at this time, looks like we're going to have a north and south positioning, and the members of Jailbait do want to defend this. And the other thing to note here is that they're about they're a quarter of a level away from getting to their 10s, and with that, they could really start to push into some of these members of throwing. So they need to do this quite quickly on the side of throwing here, and Jailbait's doing a really good job of just kind of pacing this and just zoning them a little bit, just, showing themselves, but also, they don't need to take a fight. They're not using abilities. Looks like we do have a little bit of poke going in on this Immortal. Yazoo taking a little bit of damage from H2O, but Smug Dolphin getting dove by. Hot Job there. And it looks like some of the members are separated from their healer at this time. H2O gonna need a little bit of healing. There is the Storm Bolt that did go out, and actually Murden will be falling in this situation. There is the Overpower onto Junkrat, but it looks like they will back off at this time, and they get the Immortal. So this is going to be the first Immortal going over in favor of throwing. And I gotta say, this is something they definitely need. They can split off with their Artanis, soak that bottom lane, make sure that the rest of the team is going to be pushing up that top, get 10s, really start to push in. And this Immortal, it does have about 50% shielding, so it will attack from range for quite a bit. So as fast as they can burn down this gate is going to be beneficial for them, because that's the poke damage that won't be, slowly taken away from him. But the other thing to note really quickly is that Sonya's solo on bottom. There's no one really going up against her, so she's going to get that free push onto that fort and get that little bit of extra experience. But the other actually huge dragon, Apocalypse going out, going to get the stun onto H2O there. The break it down was used by Lucio. Swap does go out once again onto H2O. The Malfurion using the Twilight Dream there. And it looks like they make a full disengage. Did I have that right? Twilight Dream? Excuse me, Tranquility. Leap going to be taking. That Dragon Strike. Dragon Strike's going to be picked up there. That's interesting. They're going to be using this as an anti-sieging tool, it looks like. But overall, I mean, they're starting to push up quite a bit with this Immortal. And I said that the longer they can keep this thing going, it's going to be pretty big for them. Lucio going to go ahead and get that knockback onto one of the members, but Hot Shot going to go ahead and get dismounted from that Li Ming the Li Ming missiles there. So they poke out for the vision. They do see that the team was rotating this way. Now the question is, do they risk taking this themselves? Swap does go out. They don't find anyone at this time, but it looks like Murden will leap right over the wall. Hotshot taking quite a bit of damage. Gun of the Root going to go out. Won't be connecting. It looks like the team will be backing off of this camp, though. And at this time, they'll probably be able to pick this up for free on the side of Jailbait. But at the same time, they are very, very close to 13s themselves. They really need to consider that on the side of throwing here, because without these 13s, some of these fights can really start to go sideways, and some of this late game experience can, really, really start to go that way, especially with these late game Immortals. They siege extremely well. Now, Hotchop coming in for a huge flank here, going to get the charge onto onto Smug Dolphin. Linar going to get that leaping strike over. Malfurion going to be falling first here. H2O going to get swapped, but Topher going to be on the other side of that wall. They're going to need to burn this down really quickly. Break it down is used. Leap is out onto a couple of members. Topher going to be using the his shielding is going to be coming out, but there's also the Dragon Strike that came out onto a couple of members there. Sonya going to be falling very early. Well, she'll be falling in this engagement as well, and with that, I mean, the the levels are just about evened up, and this is absolutely perfect on the side of throwing here. They got 2 kills. They lost their Artanis, granted, yeah. But at the same time, I mean, they kind of evened up the experience, and that's the big thing for them. The other factor, too, is that they're going to be able to have this nice moment to breathe a little bit. They're going to get this camp, and it looks like Jailbait's going to be doing the exact same thing. They're going to want to pick up this bruiser camp, start that pushing down the lane, and they're going to have to dedicate someone for this at some point. The question is, who's going to break first from you know, pushing, or excuse me, from defending, and it looks like it's going to be the members of Jailbait. The other thing to consider on the factor of Jailbait, though, is that they've got a lot of good poke, and they've also got a lot of good reveal, too. So they can see who's coming in where, and so they see, you know, they send Sonya top, they throw out some vision, they see that everyone's rotating. They can play a little aggressive. Looks like Greyman's going to be going down for that clear as well. Sonya going to be finishing that up quite soon, I would guess, but Greyman going to get that clear very quickly. And once again, they're just going to go back to just kind of poking this out, seeing what they can get. Diablo going to charge in onto Li Ming. There is the root that did go out onto a couple of the members, but it looks like Diablo really wants that kill onto Galaxy, and it looks like they do get it. So Li Ming out of the fight here. Hanzo going to get a couple ricochet shots. Fragastellar coming back. Leap is going to go into that backline onto Lunar, taking quite a, Recycle taking quite a bit of damage there. Actually, H2O going to be chasing them out here. It looks like some of these members are splitting away just to spread out, and at this point, they get 2 kills onto the side of Jailbait here. The Apocalypse did come out. The Dragon Strike did go through as well. And it looks like, you know, they lose one on the side of throwing, but they end up picking 2 kills. Leaping Strike going to be going out from Queen Bee there, and they're so low. They want to poke this and they want to fight this, but unfortunately they can't. So it looks like they're going to have to go back, and probably most of them have well at this point, I would assume. Lucio going to be healing up most of their teams, so they will be getting back full. But here's the thing: both teams are back 100%. We're not even in the 50% phase at this time. Greymane just getting back into the fray as well, so they'll be able to poke this a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be winning out from it. Looks like there is just a stun onto a couple of the members, but overall, this is just a nice back and forth. H2O going to get caught out here. There's a stun out from the Immortal. It's going to be ignored, or dodged by all the members of the team. Fragastellar are going to be jumping in, or leaping in. They're going to be getting a spin onto a couple of the members. There is a late break it down there from the Lucio. It does save a couple of the members. They actually get the Sonya in this situation, but they lose the Artanis. So it's once again, it's a 2-for-1 that they get in this fight. I mean, this back and forth. I love how you get like nice picks. It's just like watch this. They're going to do it exactly again, and they do exactly that. I mean, they basically. Instead of Greymane, it's Artanis. Instead of Li Ming and Sonya, it was just Sonya and Murden, I think. But it looks like they're going to go ahead and go straight for the fight at this, for the race at this time. And I mean, I still got to say, they're not going to win it. But I can't believe that. The burn on the side of Jailbait is just too much. You can't win this race. You got to fight him. That Hanzo is ridiculous. He chunks for so much, and after losing 2 fights, after honestly the experience gain going over in favor of throwing, they still win that over, and that's the thing about the Immortal burn, especially Hanzo on this map, as I'm seeing more and more, is just he chunks these things so strong. And the other thing to consider too is Li Ming has her missile build, and she's doing quite a bit of damage as well, and I think she took Cannoneer. Lunar are going to go ahead and just see that vision from the back. And at this time, it looks like we're going to be having Jailbait pushing into throwing here. 15s to 15s. 16s are just about on the side of throwing, so they'll have that slight advantage for a few seconds here. But with the siege that's happening, it should be evened out quickly. Now, this Immortal is going into melee range, so they're going to have to play this a little bit safe. You can see that the Li Ming is just kind of poking out here. Fragastellar setting up for that leap and going to get it right in there. There is the Apocalypse that does come out. Dragon Strike is used as well. It's avoided by most of the members here. We do have the Purification Beam coming out onto H2O. We're going to have Lunar falling first in this fight, as Yazoo looks like he might be the next one. Doesn't look like he's actually going to get a cocktail out. Swap's going to go out onto Smug Dolphin, and there is a dive, and he will be falling, but they trade into the Artanis as well. Hot Chop a little bit low here. Do they go for the extra pick? It doesn't look like it's going to be happening. They actually get the kill onto Sonya from the keep, and it looks like with that bloodbath, they get the keep, they back off. And this is game 1, guys. I mean, this is the back and forth that we're getting in game number 1. This is absolutely insane. These fights are so... they're so back and forth, and they're so well played between these two teams. I absolutely love this matchup, and the way that everyone's playing right here is really great. This is a little risky here, so they can see it, and they already get the camp as well, so that's no big deal. Li Ming also, just quickly noting, going to be picking up 2 more magic missiles at level 16 there, so just a lot more damage going out onto that mortal, as well as just, that poke damage that can come out from her as well. Now, at this time, the Immortals will be spawning in a north to south direction. The other thing is, we've probably got about a minute on those, I would assume. At this point, though, so I got 30 seconds. Getting close. Getting closer with my timers. I'm trying to get better with that. But it looks like they're going to take a very aggressive invade on this, and throwing will go ahead and pick this up. But there is a little bit of a fight that's currently going to be starting out. And we do have the camp being picked up. Sonya going to be diving in. Fragistellar getting that spear out. But it looks like Yazoo is the target. There is that Dragon Strike that does come through onto a few of the members. The Apocalypse does come out. Leap goes in. But this time they get that Sonya very early in this fight. Smug Dolphin going to have that Purification Beam on him. And he actually will be falling from the camp as well. And so with that is huge on the side, but they end up losing Diablo. Now, granted, he does lose all of his souls, which isn't the... Li Ming getting the stomp onto the Artanis there, and Yazoo going to be falling as well. Lunar going to be taking the Stormbolt in the back. She should be able to get out of this without a problem. The Stormbolt not connecting there, and it looks like Hotshot's going to get that charge in, and actually will complete the quest as well. But at this time, we're just going to have Li Ming just kind of poking in onto this Immortal, and as well as the rest of the team of throwing are going to be clearing up this camp and then probably rotating. If they could get a pick here, that'd be huge, but I don't think they have the time to get one just yet. So playing it safe and just getting the damage out onto the Immortal is the best route for them right now. And Li Ming's kind of doing the exact same thing, but you can already see, she's taking it down quite a bit by herself, I would say. And some of these members, I think they do realize it, so they really want to prioritize her. So we do have another north to south spawn on these things, and it looks like the members of Throwing are going to kind of play this safe. They want to see if they can just defend this and win this over through the team fight. The poke, though, from Jailbait is the big thing to consider, because there's Li Ming just sneaking these things in, and also just the vision that's provided by Hanzo so she can make sure that she sneaks those in is just really, really big for her. This is... Vector U music. Huge swap onto Junkrat. There is an Apocalypse that goes out. It doesn't connect onto any of the members, but there's the Leaping Strike that does come out from Queen Bee. At this time, though, Greymane is going to be diving onto that Hanzo in the backline, so they do end up getting that kill. But a couple of the members are getting a little bit low on the side of Throwing, so this is a big fight for them. H2O is in that backline trying to get some damage out onto Hotshot here. Fragistellar is trying to do the same. They actually get the kill onto Diablo and Artanis, and this is starting to go over in favor of Jailbait so quickly. They burn down the Immortal. The other thing to consider, too, is that there are catapults already on the core. This Immortal will go bottom, but it's got a nice wave stacked up with it as well, and this thing is powerful. These members should be getting back in time. Looks like we do have a drop. Okay, they're gonna get their person back. All right. So they go ahead and they get this keep. It looks like the Immortal is going... So they are just getting back-ish. So I was a little bit late with my timing. The Immortal... I thought they would actually wait for the Immortal, but they're ready. They're just like, why wait? Why even wait, Bahamut? What's the point? Let's just go in, take the keep. They've got no one to defend this. Now everyone's back. So they leap in with Fragistellar. There is the Immortal that's currently onto the core. It's at 50-some%. And they are, so they get the kill onto the Murden very quickly, and they also get the Li Ming here, but the thing to consider is that this Immortal is chunking this core, and it looks like it is going to be game number 1 going over to Jailbait. GG, well played. No, let's go into Braxis Holdout. Cast a person, it would be helpful to try and break down any key plays or interactions in real time and after each fight. I thought that's what I was doing. My bad. Sorry. All right, let's get going into this. On the left-hand side, we're going to have Jailbait, who are up 1 game in this best of 2 series. And when I said Domination League, it's... Gotta defend my title as solo lane god. It's true. Like, you were on my stream every week, twice a week, in the solo lane. So, yeah. Oh, captains only. I see how it is. Letting them know. All right. Sylvanas can be banned out on the side of Jailbait. They were calling me, they were like, yeah, racist, only captains get to do interviews. I was like, no. The captain just sends whoever they want to interview. Like, that's what we do. Like, last match, I mean, smart move, Bahamut. All right. Hey, Tim, how you doing, bud? Thanks for swinging by, dude. All right, on the right-hand side, let's get back into this draft. Throwing, they're going to be banning at this point, and after that last match, I'd consider banning out that Hanzo. Or you go for something that's a little bit more map-centric, and you go for, like, a Gul'dan or like, Wave Clear or anything that's really, like, strong for team fight or push, as you can see on the side of Jailbait. Well, let's see. That's going to be the Hanzo. Junkrat is in no way ever doing an interview again. I thought it went swell. Oh, man. All right. Lucio's going to be picked up first on the side of Jailbait here, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was their first pick last game? No, that was first pick on the other side. First pick was... Oh, they had the 1-2 pickup, didn't they? And they went for Malfurion and the Rhaegar. Either way, well, let's get into this. So Jaina's going to be picked up with the Malfurion. Not a bad idea. Good wave clear. She's got good poke. Really good fight over the points. Malfurion offering a lot with her kit as well, as the Innervate's going to be beneficial for her for that mana buff that she can also just have a little bit more sustain, you know, in that lane. Phil, why you do this? But before we go into second ban phase, let's go ahead and take a peek at what they're going to be picking on the side of Jailbait. Now, they've got their Lucio. Realistically, I think that they just hold out on their solo lane and they just go ahead and they pick up good wave clear. So Gul'dan, in my opinion, phenomenal for this map. Or Kael'thas. I just think you grab it now. And then you go ahead and pick up a tank with that. Oh, no, they're going to pick up their solo lane. Not a bad idea. We did see it. No. Oh, well, we saw it picked up very early by... No. I think I'm swapping all the drafts back and forth. It's been too long of a day for me. Sony was on that side as well, and they picked it, I think, pretty early. I think actually in the same kind of slot, if I'm not mistaken. It was after ban phase because they didn't have first pick, first ban. But either way, it's still, like... It's still a really strong draft on the side of Jailbait. Throwing, though, poses something very interesting with the start of their draft. They've got a lot of good control for their bottom point. I'm curious to see how they're going to round that out, as well as what they're going to prioritize in this situation. Do you go for... Okay, I was going to say, do you try and take out the tank, or do you try and take out, you know, their wave... Not their wave clear, their damage dealers. So you realistically just have to consider what they're going to be trying to stack on top of that Kael'thas, as well as the tank, too. I say you throw all caution to the wind, and you go Cho'Gall. You go Cho'Gall. They're gonna do it. They're gonna Cho'Gall. Greymane ban. I mean, I don't disagree with this at all. I think it works with the team. We saw that their Greymane player was really strong last game. I mean, he did dive and he played very well. It got a lot of good kills and set up a lot, and also had a lot of good poke damage, and those cocktails are just a nuisance. So overall, not a bad ban on the side of Jailbait at all. Even if it's, you know, strategic or a respect ban, it's still a great ban either way. Oh, Tim. Oh, Tim. You're such a lovely person. Thank you. Let me go ahead and just clear these out really quick. Okay. Mark, and mark. All right. let's get back into this. On the right-hand side, throwing is going to be picking up 2 more players or 2 more heroes after this ban phase, and realistically, I would still be considering your tank in this situation, and then maybe you go for the solo lane counter. No, so they go for their tank, which is still strong, and then they go ahead and pick up the Vala with that, which I don't disagree with at all. I think that's a strong 4-man for the bottom. Talking about skins already. I actually didn't even see the Cyberhawk till like someone pointed it out, and I was like, yeah, nice. I don't know of any other skins that aren't. Either way, these last 2 picks though on the side of Jailbait, they're gonna realistically need to focus. They'll need their damage, and they're gonna need their tank. I like their Garrosh. I've seen it before. I think it's strong. And then... No, do you go Diablo Thrall? No. Garrosh Junkrat. Of course, Junkrat is going to play Junkrat. Yeah, he's already in... I can already see him in the in-game chat. Just, boy! I'm just like, of course, they're going to put Junkrat on Junkrat. But, I digress. Junkrat picked... Yeah, just... But all right, so we've got the core 4-man of the bottom lane for throwing here. This last pick, I like the idea of an Alarak, but I don't see it happening. Malthael is viable. I'm just not sure about it. I kind of like the Zagara overall. It's just realistically, do they have a Zagara player? And that's also a lot of range for a team. Who's going to be your solo laner? Throwing? That works. It makes a lot of sense, and he works very strong on this map. A lot of good flanks that will be coming out from him. Gosh, I hope someone plays Cho'Gall. Unfortunately, last game we had a Cho'Gall. I was trying to literally the last Braxis holdout match I casted about an hour ago. No, about 2 hours ago. That match had a Cho'Gall, and it was something fun to watch. So definitely, if you're interested, go ahead and catch that VOD. But either way, let's get into this. I'm too excited. All right, and on the left-hand side, we are going to have up 1 game Jailbait with Smug Dolphin on that Sonya. We have Galaxy on the... sorry, the spray's always... all this is getting me. On the Kael'thas, we have H2O on the Garrosh. Junkrat will be playing Junkrat, and Fragastellar will be on that Lucio. On the right-hand side, we are going to have Throwing with Topher on that Dahaka. We'll have Queen Bee playing the Jaina, Repsychic on the Malfurion, I do believe. Hotshot going to be playing the Anubrek, and Yazoo going to be playing that Vala. It looks like we don't have anything too out of the ordinary at the start of this game here. We actually do have Sonya going for block at level 1. Won't be going into that War Paint for that little bit of extra sustain, but block's still a viable choice here, especially up against, some of these members. Dahaka also doesn't have, the strongest auto attacking, so just denying that a little bit is a little bit beneficial for the team. But the one thing that they need to worry about here a little bit is just making sure that they don't get caught between H2O and Galaxy, because they have a lot of delay, and Junkrat, as this game will go on, will have a lot of good displacement, as well as some burst into some of these guys who just kind of stand still for a little bit. But at this point, we're just going to go ahead and just peek up into the top lane, see how this is going right now. And it looks like it's just going to be a pretty even matchup here. I don't realistically think that these two are going to be getting into a crazy fight. But in bottom, we just barely miss it. We have the Vala, the first kill of the game, going over to Jailbait, so Vala will be falling there. And H2O going to be getting the stun onto the Jaina for a hot second, but she'll be able to kind of just back off and play safe by the gate. Once again, they're going to make sure that they're also going to prioritize those regen globes in bottom for that Kael'thas, making sure that he's going to be picking up that extra, you know, having those that regen quest complete so early is so beneficial for the team. So grabbing that is big. And the other thing too to consider is, I was just about to note it, but there's also that, you know, globe stealing is another thing that they get to do here. But Hotshot going to be diving in, trying to get on to Galaxy here, and it looks like he's just going to be zoning them back a little bit. The toss on to Yazoo there. At the same time, there is a bunch of damage going out, but Hotshot will be falling first in this engagement. So 1-1. Excuse me, actually, another kill going over in favor of Jailbait. And can they get? Oh, I was going to say, Queen Bee, you're in a little bit of a bad spot, but it doesn't look like it's going to be netting them another kill. But at this time, they do have the charge in favor of Jailbait, and so this is going to be a pretty powerful charge happening quite quickly. But at the same time, Dahaka did go back. Gonna have that brush stroke probably right onto the point. Nope, actually going to going into bottom lane, actually, and they're going to be going for the fight here, and this is still going to be charging this entire time. Yazoo going to get the delay on this at this point. The rest of the team diving in. We do have Galaxy going to be falling first in this engagement. H2O going to get that stun for a quick second. Fragastellar just going to be trying to delay this out as Yazoo gets a little bit of poke onto some of these members, but it doesn't look like they'll be getting another kill. That Kael'thas, though, delaying that out is pretty big because of the factor that he won't be able to get any more regen globes, so it slows down that level 1 talent, and for him that's pretty beneficial. We do actually have stun going out onto Topher a little bit, and we actually have a trap going out. The only thing is, will it catch one of the members, and can they benefit from this? We do have a bunch of damage going out. The flip is on to Topher here. He's in a bad spot. Does he have a burrow? Nope. So it looks like he will be the first one to fall in this little engagement. Now, in top lane, they did go ahead and grab that beacon, so it's going to be pretty beneficial for the team. They don't get this charge over, and also the other factor, too, is that they do get a little bit of charge themselves. So Vala pushing in Smug Dolphin in this top lane just a little bit here. Overall, Smug Dolphin should win this over, but looks like they'll be playing this safe for now, especially because of the fact that they are down a member in bottom lane. So if they do go for this fight, it is in favor of Jailbait. Looks like they will just play a little bit safe and just kind of poke out into this lane. Now, Dahaka is rotating back in at this time. And he actually did go for that, I believe, tissue regeneration at level 1. So he doesn't have that extra speed in those bushes there. So it's not going to be that beneficial. He's not going to have, you know, that quick momentum back into lane. And the other thing to note here really quickly is Sonya in top lane going to be grabbing this beacon as well. So they're going to try and prioritize this. There's the Junkrat who does get that displacement grenade. 2 of them actually, just making sure that they don't get this, but they do get the Zerg wave. H2O taking quite a bit of damage, going to go ahead and get a stun out onto Hotshot there. And it looks like they get a little bit of poke, but not a kill. Now in top lane, this is going to be Vala trying to defend against this. The spear, I don't think, connected onto Yazoo there, but a little bit of a panic if I was in that Vala's shoes right there. Now, Smug Dolphin going to be staying up in this top lane, pushing up. Actually going to have to back off here as they start to dive in on them. In bottom lane, though, it looks like Topher's in a little bit of a bad spot. Going to get that burrow to buy a little bit of time. Trying to burrow and actually gets away into the top lane. Going to be able to get out just safe. But in the bottom, meanwhile, though, looks like while this top lane is getting pushed in, they're just going to open up this gate for themselves here. And this is big because the more that you can push into this, it's supremely better for your team because the retreat path for the enemy is so much further, as well as taking out their sustain, like their well, doesn't allow them to really fight over these points too often and for too long. So definitely going ahead and just burning this down really, really quickly. Now, there was a little hesitation. They could have got this a little bit quicker, but, you know, these are micro criticisms about these teams. I mean, they're playing in the heat of the moment. Of course, they were like, well, we can't see them in top. They're rotating. We're not sure. So it's just one of those things that they made a good call to kind of back off, but they did end up going back and getting that well, and that's the thing that I noted, that this is their sustain in bottom is drastically weakened, and that's going to be hard for the team to really survive in that lane. With a little bit of a fight actually popping off down here over this camp, it looks like H2O will be using that Indomitable at level 4 just to make sure that he gets out of there without a problem. It looks like Topher going to be getting pushed in here by Smug Dolphin a little bit and doing the exact same kind of thing, just prioritizing that well, making sure they don't have the sustain, and just making that retreat path more difficult for the members of Throwing. So they'll push up a little bit with their camp right here, and it looks like they'll be able to get up to the gate and push up. These Hellbats are going to be doing a little bit, and also Kael'thas has some pretty decent clear. They also need to respect the Garrosh toss potentially here. They had the stun Vala going ahead and making sure that there is that vault out. Doesn't want to die there. And actually, Topher going to go ahead and top lane, going to get this drag onto Smug Dolphin. The chain does not connect. And I was going to say that Poison Spear really starts to do some damage as we get into this later half of the game. Another big thing to note here on the side of, actually, Hot Chop going to be thrown out here, and actually the friendly toss onto Fragastella there to make sure that they get out. We'll grab that regen globe just to make sure that they also, one, get that deny, and two, just a little bit of extra health and mana for the team. They end up getting the entire team out of there, and that was actually pretty big. And once again, just peeking up into top, I'm just like, oh Topher's getting so low. Oh, nope. It's just Sonya stops. Now Hot Chop, though, gonna get this burrow into a couple members, gonna back off, gonna spread the bomb from Kael'thas. Looks like it will not be spread again. All right. And once again, Junkrat just poking in here, gonna be getting quite a bit of value. And the other thing to note is that the beacon phase is just about to pop. We have 10s nearing on the side of Jailbait, so that's pretty big, honestly. If they're able to grab that, when they're able to grab that, this pretty much means that these beacons are potentially uncontested, because it's going to be so hard for them to fight up into the 10 talent tier like this. Yazoo potentially getting caught out there. If H2O would have had that toss potentially ready, that would have spelled demise for Yazoo. But actually, top lane, Smug Dolphin going to get pushed out. Meanwhile, though, the beacons did charge a little bit during that, and it looks like the team will take a little bit of an aggressive rotation here. Topher potentially getting caught out in this and actually going to be thrown onto the stun. There is a huge Warlord's challenge onto a couple of members, though. It looks like Junkrat will be getting the bomb out onto Hot Chop there, and it looks like he will be getting killed, but the other members are able to get out safely. Now, there is a slight charge on the side of Throwing here. Queen Bee gonna get caught out here by so many of the members. The toss goes out, and they get the kill onto that member so quickly. All right, with that, they'll be able to grab that that siege camp, and I was going to say, no, I was like, are they rotating for boss? No, it doesn't look like it. They're just going to be going down to bottom, making sure that they get this next Zerg wave, and it's going to be pushing bottom here, which is an open lane for them. Now, top is as well, just to note too, but at this time, we have Junkrat potentially getting caught out here. The tongue goes out, and it does not look like they'll be able... Oh! Junkrat trying to explode the mine, trying to get a couple members separated, but it's not going to be working out for them. Now, we do have that death, and it's also going to push them into 10s on the side of Throwing here. So in this fight, they go ahead and they use the Phoenix as a zoning tool. Quite a bit of damage going on into Hot Chop here, but overall, they zone them back. Without this Junkrat, they don't want to take this fight, and I don't blame them, honestly. Lucio also going to be finishing the party mix here. We have Sonya popping Wrath of the Berserker, and we actually have Nature... Oh my god, I can't remember it. Oh my god. Tranquility's going to be popped at the same time. We have also Malfurion falling. The Ring of Frost does come out. The Web Wrap did go onto the Garrosh there, so they don't have that tank for just a few seconds. Smug Dolphin trying to spin to win. They actually get the Anubrak counter kill in this situation. Junkrat's back, goes ahead, pops down bottom, picks up this, and they will be going ahead and getting more Zerg charge. That's going to be barreling down the bottom lane. Now, what I would honestly prefer them to do is they stay top and they push. They leave the Junkrat bottom. He's there for the soak. They split themselves. No, they're going to rotate their team. And my whole thing is just is to spread their team a little bit thin in this position, because yes, you are separating the team. You can get picked off here. But the other thing to consider in this situation is just you've got 4 men up there. Just push with that. I mean, you can then rotate down at this time when there is this transitional period. But it's just one of those things that if the team was up there, it might have distracted, because it might have pulled some of the members of Throwing up into that top lane and just split them, and then they could have got a little bit more. It's micro things that I'm just viewing, and these are all what ifs in the situation. But Smug Dolphin going to be rotating down into the team. The other thing to note here is that Dahaka is top clearing, so this is a 5-man push in bottom lane. They're on this keep, and I have to shut my mouth because they absolutely they played this really, really well. They went ahead and they opened this up, and it looks like they will be getting this keep here. With the Zerg wave that they have, as well as the Guardians and their 13 advantage, they've pushed back some of these members quite a bit, and I don't think that they have the ability to end here. We have a toss here onto Recyclic, but the Ring of Frost does come out. It doesn't connect onto any of the members, but we have a huge Rain of Vengeance. There is also a Warlord's Challenge that comes out onto a couple of members, and it looks like that delays it for a few seconds, but Smug Dolphin will be the next one to fall. H2O going to get the toss, but it doesn't look like it's enough, and actually that stun is going to be his demise. So they have... just... Youch. So they push up and they have all this advantage, but unfortunately... most of that advantage, you know, on the map and experience, that's going to be kind of swapped over in favor of throwing here, especially because they're going to be able to pick up this boss. And it looks like Junkrat's just here. He threw down the mine, and it looks like he's going to be backing off, but he'll probably just save that mine just to be a nuisance right at the end. He'll probably explode it as they're trying to capture it. I don't think that their members can get here in time for the delay onto this. Lucio actually, hold up. There is the mine. Actually, oh my god, Junkrat ended up blowing himself away from his friendly team. We actually have Lucio falling there because he was just by himself. Webrap did go out onto the Junkrat there. Galaxy trying to get that burn down as quickly as possible. Smug Dolphin diving in to some of these members does get the kill onto that Vala. They also get the kill onto the Jaina here as well. Galaxy going to be thrown out. Recyclic getting the pick onto the Sonya, who was murdering so much of the team. Now, bottom lane needs to be cleared out by the two remaining members, and then top lane boss needs to be picked up, cleared out as well. Now, the big thing to note here is that all this is happening, and like, I looked over at Death Timers, and I was just like, oh no, like, this could potentially be a big loss. And I'm like, oh wait, we're like 12 minutes in. Death Timers, they're like, everyone's almost back already from that last engagement. So, just... what an insane back and forth between these two teams. And I really got to say, and they even messaged you, I even saw it in the lobby, they were saying after that last match, they were like, oh, great games. And like, these games between these two have been amazing to cast. The back and forth, the draft as well, the plays, this has been an absolute blast to cast. So just, this is a really, really great matchup that we have on our hands right here. So the beacon phase is going to be starting out in 30 seconds here. It looks like the members of Jailbait are going to be picking up their camp, as we saw the members of Throwing do themselves. And honestly, this is one of those situations where we're starting to get to that later half of the game when the Zerg wave, this is going to start scaling. It's going to be doing quite a bit of damage. Some of these lanes that are left alone a little bit here could potentially turn into some bad pushes, but it actually looks like quite a bit of damage is coming out. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to follow up with any of it, or at least they were trying to start something there, but it doesn't look like they really wanted to have it on the side of Throwing, especially with 16 so close on the side of Jailbait. But we do have Smug Dolphin going ahead and popping the Wrath of Berserker that's going to be chaining in as well. Topher going to be trying to get the isolation, but it looks like it was knocked away at the last second. We do have Malfurion trying to heal up his teammates, but they're just getting in so deep here. Smug Dolphin going to be the first one to fall here. Looks like there is the Riptide that did also come out from the Junkrat, blowing a few of the members into the fray, and at this time, H2O is trying to get onto some of these members and fight them. We actually have the stun going on to Hot Job. That is going to be the Nubrak falling here. Ring of Frost does go out, but it does not connect onto any of the members. We do have that Break It Down coming out from the Lucio, and they start to disengage at this time. We do have these... So this is what I was kind of oh, actually, no, they're turning around. They're going for this fight. The stun goes out onto the Vala thrown behind the team. There is a bunch of damage coming out from the Kel'Thas. She does get the Rain of Vengeance out. It looks like she will be falling. This is what I was talking about, stacking up lanes. This is the stuff they need to worry about. They had that camp pushing, but at this time, it's so powerful with catapults, with those Hellbats. And I'm not saying it's going to completely just, you know, wipe the core, but it does pull the members back. It delays them from, you know, from getting, well... It delays them from delaying this out, these beacons. And the other factor, too, is, you know, it pulls their team away out of the lanes. It allows the members of Jailbait to just push this up further and realistically get great positioning across the map. And as long as they keep pushing up, I keep saying pushing, but that's the name of the game right now. As long as they keep focusing this bottom lane, it's going to be so difficult for the members of Throwing to realistically come back from this, especially with 16 so close here. They really, really want it, but at the same time, they don't want to be staggering in death potentially or anything like that. Now, Zergwave is 100% to 0 in top lane, also has a camp pushing with it as well. We can see the members rotating from bottom into top in preparation for this, as well as the members of Throwing are going to be trying to clear up this camp as quickly as possible, but H2 are going to go ahead and take a huge... Oh, the taunt comes out, but the ice block was there right away. The Ring of Frost does come out. There's also the healing coming out from Recyclic. And on top, oh my god, this fight is going so back and forth. No one is really falling too much. The Indomitable is used by H2O there. Yazoo so low, gonna be actually falling to the Kael'thas. We also have a Nubrak falling as well, so these two deaths are huge on the members on the side of Jailbait. Actually, Smug Dolphin gonna get tossed in there, and they actually get the kill onto the Dahaka, and with that, this is starting to go very, very sideways for the members of Throwing, and with this 50% Zerg wave, I would realistically think that they're going to be moving on to the core and starting to focus down that. The GGs are thrown out, and it looks like game number 2 is going to be going over to Jailbait. GG, well played. And what a matchup. Oh my god. Oh, it's this. See or she get 2. There you go. See, that's the benefit of subbing while I'm casting, is your name gets to pop up twice. Other side. There we go. Twice. All right. Let me go ahead and message the team captain. Lobby. Which lobby am I going to go into? Into lobby 1. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll mute ourselves really quick. Dolphin will be joining us. Okay. Alrighty, so at this time, we do have Smug Dolphin with us. Congratulations on your win. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thanks a lot.
Oh my god, what a phenomenal matchup between you guys tonight. These games, they were such a blast to cast. I really got to say.
They were pretty exciting to play too. I'm not gonna lie. Those were that first game was really nerve-wracking.
And I had a question about that, because after that game I had to write a note for myself right away, so I did not forget this. That Immortal stall that was like midway through the game, where like it was basically like there were 2 team fights, like they lost their Artanis in one of them, their Greymane in another, but they took 2 members of yours. Was like the mentality that goes into that, like how do you go from like losing 2 team fights and kind of having to play safe to basically just like, why don't we just poke down the Immortal and then just pretty much win the game with that?
Let's see. I think a lot of it came down to the positioning of the Immortal, and it wasn't so much that they had 2 guys down and we had 2 guys down. A lot of it came down to the other 3 that they had were also really weak. And we knew that they couldn't really engage, because without the Artanis swap, I don't think we really trusted them just to die with the Diablo. And as you said, Greymane was dead at the time, so the lack of follow-up, I think we just said, okay, we can safely poke this Immortal down, get ourselves to halftime, we can regroup. We always like to say our best asset is the team fighting, so we figure we're going to win one of these, and as long as we win the later ones, that's all that really matters.
Exactly.
So, and that's what ended up happening. And
then so just on that team fighting note, that boss call, I got it, like that boss rush on Brax's holdout that we just saw, that was really intense. Like when you go into something like that, were you guys just like, we can rush it, we can take it, we can fight it? Because I also got a note that you dove into that backline and just started demolishing.
Yeah, the comms were a little bit hectic there. I think it was the Garrosh and I were still, as Sonya, we were both running in because we had died on the Zerg Rush push earlier, and we were just trying to get back as fast as possible. I'm spamming my mouse. I might have broken it. And we realized I couldn't get there in time, but I had Wrath up, and I said, you know what? Well, the Malfurion, their whole front line is past me, so I'm just going to go after the Jaina and Malfurion, and I think the Vala. I think I got
you like speared into the Vala, blew her up. You got the Jaina, and then I think Malfurion like got you from the bushes with like one Q or something like that, or just like an auto attack. It was just like the sad moment in it. But the last little question I had for you, and it's not anything really in depth, but during that last push, did H2O tell you that he was going to throw you, or was he just like, were you just in the air? Because I was watching it, I was like, that's Sonya over the gate right there.
Well, we in the comms, I think we just said like hashtag fake leap. I'll be honest, I did not see the leap coming. I had a spear ready to go, and then I was like, oh well, I am nowhere where I thought I was supposed to be. This is interesting.
It was It was
Yeah,
so
and then
good.
I'm pretty sure like a couple of people on our team genuinely thought I took Leap that game. I was like, nope, I took Wrath that game. If I took Leap, I would have dove in there myself. But no,
I
it was
heard it.
funny because I was able to get the Whirlwind off
that
to
was
stay
that was the
alive.
big thing. But no, that was the phenomenal games and just an absolute blast to cast. But before I let you go, you want to give any shout outs?
Just shout outs to my team. It's really nice playing with people that are really calm. And if there's like a mistake or something, or someone doesn't do anything right, or someone doesn't do something right, it's always there's no screaming, there's no yelling,
Mm-hmm.
there's no BMing or anything. It's just nice to play with people who are genuinely fun. So just shout outs to my team and shout out to you for casting the game.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, well, that is going to be wrapping up our interview. Congratulations once again on your 2-0 victory, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Cheers. So that is going.